This is your debut at Around the Horn?
Debut, man.
Okay.
Show one, hopefully of many.
And by the way, much better sound. Okay, so now this is your first appearance. You're a Dolphins beat reporter. You're living in Miami. Brother, teams down here don't have early exits from the playoffs. I'm just saying. So
Hey, look,
you need to represent well and go deep into the playoffs. I'm just saying.
But you know what else? But you know what I am before any of that? I'm Sacramento raised. I'm a Kings fan. I'm West Coast. And West Coast teams, if they're not named the Lakers or Warriors, get no love nationally. No one talks about the Kings nationally. No one talks. So I plan on slipping a couple Kings references in there. I always told myself if I got to a national stage, I'll make sure Sacramento was taken care of. So I gotta look out for my own first. But Miami's on the docket. I don't want to ruin it, but I'll tease you a little sprinkle. Miami is on the docket. It will be discussed. The city, its team will be discussed. I won't say what, who, what, why, when, but just we're ready for it.
Tyreek, Kachuk, Vic Fangio, and Messi, they don't go to Sacramento. They come to Miami, bro.
Hey, Sacramento got to build from the ground up, man. That's all the more reason why when a homegrown talent like yours truly gets somewhere, gets a platform, he's got to look out for the hometown, man. He's got to look out for the squad.
You know what? I kind of like this. Actually, this plays to our favor now. If you go deep, it's really Miami related. If you get eliminated early on Around the Horn, Sacramento related. So that's kind of the way we got to roll on this, okay? I ran this by Cam. I'll run it by you. The longer this drags on, the better it is for the Miami Dolphins. I've said this from the get-go. I don't think Cook is going to find the money out there. And whatever offers he gets from lesser teams, it's going to be more than what Miami offered, but not enough that it's a no state tax and the team can win. I think he ends up here because those big, ginormous offers he thought he was going to have are never going to show up. So as time goes on, does it benefit the Dolphins or not? Do you agree with me or not on this one?
Yeah, I would say it benefits the Dolphins. We haven't heard of him taking any visits yet. He did say on Adam Schefter's podcast yesterday he's interested in teaming up with DeAndre Hopkins.
Whatever.
Which it made me laugh because he said like it would be epic, right? It would be epic.
Yes.
Would it be any more epic than teaming up with Justin Jefferson, who you've been playing with the past 3 years? Like we've already seen you.
Yeah.
It cracked me up because it's like, what are you talking about, bro? It's not like McCaffrey saying, "Oh, it'd be epic if when me and Devo were together," or like if Derrick Henry was like, "Yeah, it'd be epic if me and somebody." Like you just played with the best receiver in the NFL for 3 years. Like what do you mean? DeAndre's not going to compare. And also, like
at the point we're at in free agency, the team that signs D-Hop does not have the money also for Dalvin Cook. So
and that brings up a valid point, though.
He doesn't really have a grasp of reality, Dalvin Cook.
But
I don't think so.
But that brings up the valid point. A team that can afford both Hopkins and Dalvin Cook, that can afford both and give both a role worthy of their name, are bad. We're talking Bears. We're talking Panthers. He's not going to go back to the Cardinals. He's not going back to the Texans. Like those are the teams that have cap space and roles available for them. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But as I've said from the jump, if he wants to come here to Miami at cost, if he wants to come to the Dolphins at cost, then it's a no-brainer. If he says, "Yeah, I'll play for $5 million, I'll do it for $5 million a year," send the paperwork in. Easy money. Easy. Add the talent first. Worry about the fit later. Add the talent for it. It's having too much talent. What did Mike McDaniel just say about it last year? It's like the guy who has to choose between the 25-foot yacht and the 30-foot yacht when he goes out, or the 40-foot yacht and the 50-foot yacht. Like which Lamborghini to drive, which Ferrari to drive. You know what I mean? Like get the talent first, worry about the rest later. But again, the Dolphins are in a situation where they don't need Dalvin Cook. They're not a running back away from being like this penultimate or ultimate Super Bowl contender. It's not one player away. You don't lose in the wild card round when you're one player away, regardless of who was hurt, who was injured, who was available. Like that was one of the smartest things. I heard Brandon Bean say that after my first season in Buffalo, that we're now you don't one player away when you lose in the wild card game. So they're not a Dalvin Cook away from suddenly winning the Super Bowl. I think that they will have a sufficient running offense, but you have a team with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle on it, man. Like your offense goes through the air. Your offense goes through the air. You can run the ball to supplement the air game, the passing game, but you're a passing team. It's a passing offense. Dalvin Cook would maybe tilt the scales a bit, but they don't
Yeah.
need that. And I think that is their position of power. They don't need him here. They're not going to have to move heaven and earth. They're not moving mountains to get Dalvin Cook here because it's a luxury. He's a luxury at this point. And this is no disrespect to him whatsoever.
I agree with you. When you hear the comments coming out of Buffalo and Josh Allen trying to take some heat for everything that's going on with Stephon Diggs, and then the coach reversing from concerning or whatever that adjective he used for not showing up, and then reversing like how much they love him, how important he is, this and that, and how they had to kind of send all kinds of positive reinforcement. What the hell is going on with that dude?
Well, there's a report today, I think coming from Fox Sports, that he was upset that he restructured his deal for DeAndre Hopkins and that DeAndre Hopkins is either not there, not going to be there, so on and so forth. Like I've said from the jump too, like if the Bills and the Chiefs were the only destinations where adding DeAndre Hopkins really moves a needle, like is really, really significant. You know what I mean? Like going to the Patriots, it makes them from, they'll be in fourth place by 4 games to maybe by 2 or 3 games. Like it doesn't make them a contender even in the division, nevertheless, the conference. But I think DeAndre to the Bills is significant. That's a legit second option there that it's hard to account for. But if they're not adding him, I think the rest of the conference, the rest of the division, sigh of relief. Wipe that sweat off your brow. Like that's wonderful news. That's wonderful news. But beyond that, man, I don't know, man. I think Buffalo's window is closing a bit. I think it's closing a bit. It's going to be open as long as Josh Allen plays. Don't get me wrong. It's not done. But I don't think I think their optimal time to have gotten to or won the Super Bowl was these past 3 years. Because now guys have to get paid, financial decisions have to be made, guys are getting older, they're not drafting they haven't drafted very well. So it's a complicated situation. But Diggs, man, you're getting 24 M's this year. I need you to I need you to not be a distraction. If I'm being McDermott out, I need you to not be a distraction, man. It's a good thing going here.
He's always a distraction.
It's not always a distraction. I think Minnesota kind of burned him.
He stormed out of the locker room last year and that whole thing, and then they had to talk him to come back. Then weeks before that, he was I think it might have even been against the Dolphins that he wasn't getting the ball, and at halftime, McDermott had to like kind of hug him and talk to him and all that kind of stuff. He has a super diva quality to him, and that does become that does become something that gets in the way, because the last thing you want is your stars to be the guys that are giving you issues. You can understand role players and middling players and whatever, but your stars have got to lead, bro, by example, by routine, by everything. And he doesn't set a good example for everybody else.
To be fair, I think he tore X apart on that first series. If it's the game I'm thinking of, tore X apart on the first series, and then didn't get another target.
It's not talent.
He deserved more. If he was angry about not getting enough touches, not getting enough targets, it was completely warranted. It usually is completely warranted. But no, I think that Minnesota, he was misused, miscast. I think ever since he's been in Buffalo, it's not been. I mean, if you're a distraction, the distraction you cause is based on, it's competitive based. It's, I I just want to win. I want us to win. I want this, that. Like, it's not selfish. It's not, I want more money. I want to start. I want to do this. Then I think you can live with that. And that's where I think the Bills are with Stephon Diggs. I think it's basically, hey, we know I give us the best chance to win this game. We know I give us the best chance to win. Allow me to do that, please.
The other safety spot next to Holland, is it Jones and Deshaun Elliott, and is there a dark horse that we don't talk about in that position besides those two dogs at the strong safety spot?
I think Thompson, Bryce Thompson.
Bryce Thompson, yes. He looked pretty good, by the way.
Made some plays during minicamp, came away with some interceptions. Looking forward to seeing him once the pads go on and once Tyreek is on the field, once Jalen Ramsey is on the field, once like the starters are back, then I'm gonna put a little bit more weight into it. But for now, I would expect Javon and Brandon Jones to start there at safety. Deshaun Elliott playing that like Eric Rowe rotational role. But I think it really does sound like defensive backs, considering how much they value versatility in this scheme, that they are going to rotate. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey is going to primarily play corner. I wouldn't be stunned to see him line up deep once or twice a game, a couple times a game. I wouldn't be stunned. I haven't seen it because he wasn't in team drills this spring. But I wouldn't be falling out of my chair in the press box if that does happen. But I would expect Jones and Holland that's your starting safety duo. They are one of the better safety duos that people don't talk about in the NFL right now. They're one of the most productive in terms of, or Jones specifically is one of the most productive in terms of pass rushing. When you do blitz a defensive back, nobody does it better. Few people do it better than Brandon Jones. He was showing improvement in pass coverage last season before he was hurt. Hopefully, he can build off of that. And if he does, then I don't think safety is as big of a concern as some people say it is.
So if you win around the horn today, what's your 30 seconds going to be on?
Oh, man, it's tough because for a little bit, I was going to use it on Messi coming to InterMiami and what that means for the MLS beyond signing the biggest athlete in the world. The fact that it's a critical juncture right now. Their tried and true formula of bringing aging European stars to the United States is being essentially copied by the Saudi League, with the caveat that they're also going to pay them $100 million more.
Yeah, they got more.
Messi coming to the MLS is showing people, hey, there is an alternative if you morally don't want to do this, if you don't want to do that. I'm also very interested in how the typically reserved Leo Messi is going to handle being what I assume will be the MLS's spokesman, essentially. He's not David Beckham. He's not, into the spotlight like David Beckham is. So it's hard seeing him be this like beacon for the league when he would much rather kind of like keep to himself and go home and be with his family. But I'm not going to do that. I told myself that if I ever made it to a stage like this, if I ever made it to a stage like this, I'm going to take care of my own, and that is all I'm going to say.
Oh.
You have to watch and wait.
You're going to torture the people with 30 seconds about Sacramento, cows,
you're going to have to watch and wait. You're going to have to wait and see. But I said I'd take care of my own if I ever make it here. And so the people the area, the people, whatever,
we are your own, bro.
Who I wouldn't even be here without.
You live here.
That's the time.
Okay, you live here in South Florida.
Like I said, there's going to be some Miami content. Y'all just have to stay tuned. Show airs at 5. Go home real quick, dust off the stray hairs, grab my jacket. I've got the Miami look. I'm black V-neck, blue jacket. Like that's about as Miami as that's Miami representative as can be without actually grabbing the pink blazer. But I'm excited, man. Like I said, I'm excited to get this going. I've been hoping for this opportunity. This is the kind of thing that I moved down to Miami for. That's why I came to a bigger market. I'm not going to be petty
they're going to
and
pick
call
you
out.
in Sacramento for Around the Horn. They're not going to pick you in Sacramento if you're covering.
I'm not gonna be petty and mention the people in Buffalo who asked me why I took a demotion. Who told me I should have leveraged my time covering a better team into a bigger job. I'm not going to mention the people who told me I would never leave South Carolina, but I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I'm excited, hopefully, to build on it and do it more from here.
All right, 5:00 today. Make sure you catch Around the Horn and root on our guy Marcel. Hopefully, he'll win for Miami. If he loses, we know it goes to the West Coast. So it is what it is. Marcel, we'll catch up with you later on in the week, my friend. I appreciate you immensely. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Peace.
You got it. There you go. Marcel Louis-Jacques, baby, getting ready for a little Around the Horn this afternoon. Welt Rheaume, by the way, call my guys at Welt Rheaume. They know they do it all, man. All right. Property damage, criminal defense, bankruptcy, personal injury. Listen, when Progressive was giving us the runaround, these guys crushed them, brought them to their knees. Hell, got one of the people fired from Progressive and everything. Okay. I mean, ran circles around them. I told you about this a couple months ago. They closed an account where they had close to 200 clients. It's like 186 or something like that. That's how big this lawsuit was. There were 186 clients, and they cashed in, and they take those insurance companies, these big ass insurance companies, and they crush them all the time. Daniel Rheaume and Jeff Welt have been at this for a couple decades now. They've built up a hell of a practice. They're in Hollywood. They can help you out wherever you're at, man. Call them 954-966-4646. From personal injury to commercial claims to insurance claims, condo association claims, water damage from a storm, from a bursted pipe, whatever, your neighbor, you name it. Before you call the insurance companies, you call Welt Rheaume. They have their own adjusters. They'll have all the information, and then they call the insurance company. And when the insurance company gets a call first from the lawyer instead of the client, brother, they freak out. They know they're in for it right away. So it's really important that you have the law on your side. So call Welt Rheaume because they know the laws, they know the loopholes. You and I don't. That's why these insurance companies love it when we call, because they're going to run circles around us because we're not smart enough to beat them. So make sure you call the people that will crush the insurance companies and get you the money you deserve. 954-966-4646.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.